She never even applied for the job that cost her everything. It was supposed to be the break she'd been praying for. Remote, in dollars, at a big, respectable company she'd admired from a distance. Now she's sitting on the edge of her bed at 7 in the morning, staring at a phone full of notifications that all say the same thing. New login from unknown device. Transfer successful, $4,900. Transfer successful, $2,100. Her bank balance, almost nothing. Her rent is due. Her emergency savings are gone. Her passwords don't work. And the worst part, every step that led her here looked completely normal. This is how an AI-powered fake job interview stole Maya's money, her accounts, and her sense of safety. And how you can spot the trap before it ever gets that far. 2 weeks earlier, Maya was just tired. Tired of scrolling through job posts. Tired of, we've decided to move forward with other candidates. Tired of wondering if she'd wasted her degree. Her nights all looked the same. Laptop open. Phone in her hand. Tabs full of applications, CV tweaks, rejection emails. And then, on a random Tuesday night, her phone buzzed with something different. A notification from a professional networking app. Hi Maya, we've reviewed your profile for a remote product analyst position at Northbridge Solutions. We're impressed with your background and would love to speak with you. She didn't apply. They found her. The company name sounded familiar. She'd seen it in news articles, conference slides, LinkedIn posts. For the first time in months, instead of wondering if she was good enough, she let herself think a dangerous thought. Maybe I've finally been noticed. The next morning, there was already a follow-up email. Polite, professional. Company logo at the top. Signature at the bottom. Rachel Lewis, Senior Recruiter, Northbridge Solutions. There was a link to schedule a video interview. It wasn't a weird domain. It wasn't full of spelling mistakes. It looked like every other calendar link she'd ever clicked. Just to be safe, she searched Rachel Northbridge on LinkedIn. There she was. Same name. Same company. Profile picture that matched the face in the email. So when the video call started, and Rachel, Senior Recruiter, appeared on screen, Maya's brain filed one thing under safe. This is real. The woman on the call smiled the way experienced recruiters do. Warm, reassuring. Like she had done this 1,000 times. Hi Maya, thank you so much for joining on short notice. The voice was smooth, confident, slightly compressed by the video call but completely natural. They talked about her experience, her past roles, the kind of work she wanted to do. Nothing felt off. No weird questions. No obvious red flags. If anything, it felt better than most interviews. Calmer, more human, like they already wanted her to succeed. Halfway through, Rachel said something Maya had heard before. Okay, we like to do a quick live skills test just to see how you think. Nothing crazy. We're more interested in your approach than a perfect answer. She shared her screen. A clean online assessment platform appeared. Charts, user metrics, multiple choice questions. A little timer counting down in the corner. Maya had seen these types of tests. Big companies use them all the time. Just talk through your thinking, Rachel said. We want to see how you structure problems. So Maya did. She explained how she'd segment users. How she'd decide what to test first. What she'd measure to see if a feature was working. And as she talked, she saw Rachel nod, smile, type something into a notes window on the side. 10 minutes later, the test ended with a soft chime. The screen flashed green. Assessment complete score, 94% pass. Maya actually laughed. She hadn't seen a green pass screen in months. On the other side of the world, whoever built that fake test platform smiled too, because that wasn't really about her skills. It was about something much more valuable. Her trust. Before she could even fully process the score, Rachel leaned closer to the camera. "Maya, I'll be honest," she said. "That was one of the strongest live tests I've seen this month." Maya covered her mouth, trying not to grin too hard. Rachel continued, "I'm going to recommend you for the role. We'll send a conditional offer today, pending standard onboarding and background checks. How does that sound?" It sounded perfect. A stable remote salary, a brand name company, an escape from the constant anxiety of job hunting. As she nodded, her laptop chimed. New email. Conditional offer, product analyst remote. She opened it. There it was. A properly formatted PDF with a logo, job title, salary, benefits, start date. The numbers were more than she'd made in any job before. She scanned the terms. Everything looked professional. What she didn't scan was the tiny line at the top of the email. From careers at Northbridge Solutions. One extra letter. One tiny glitch in the domain. The kind of detail no exhausted, hopeful job seeker is trained to check. And that was exactly the point. At the end of the call, Rachel said there was just one last step. "Because this is a remote role," she explained, "our IT security partner needs to verify your device before we can ship your company laptop. It's standard, takes 10 minutes. Is now okay?" Maya hesitated. She'd never done that kind of check before. But then again, she'd never had a job move this quickly either. The logo was there. The LinkedIn profile was real. The offer letter existed in her inbox. She didn't want to look difficult. Not now. Not when she was this close. "Sure," she said, "we can do it now." A third person joined the call. "Hey Maya, congrats," he said. "Name's Leo. I'm with Northbridge's security partner. I'll just run a quick compatibility check to make sure your machine meets our standards." He shared his screen. An onboarding portal appeared with neat tabs. Equipment. Security. Payroll setup. Exactly the kind of thing a big remote company might use. "There's a small client we use for the check," Leo said. "It lets us see your system specs, nothing intrusive. You can uninstall it afterward if you want." A button appeared, "Download Secure Client." The cursor hovered. Maya felt that tiny knot in her stomach. The one that whispers, something off. But she was already mentally spending the salary. Already thinking about telling her parents. Already imagining her first day. She clicked download. The installation took seconds. A permission window popped up. She clicked allow without really reading it. Her mouse started moving on its own. "Don't worry," Leo said, casual and relaxed. "That's just me. I'm checking your browser compatibility and VPN." Windows opened and closed. Settings, network panels. Browser tabs. He wasn't moving too fast. Nothing looked obviously malicious. At one point, her browser opened to a previous session. Her email, her notes, a pinned tab with her bank's website. "Oops," Leo laughed. "Chrome sometimes restores old tabs. I'll close that." He did. What she didn't see was the quick flick of his cursor. Copying a URL here, bookmarking a pattern there. Learning exactly which services she used and how she logged in. To Maya, it was just mild discomfort. To them, it was a map. After 10 minutes, Leo ended the session. "You're all set," he said. "I'll mark you as verified. HR will send final paperwork and a start date." Rachel smiled, congratulated her again, and signed off. Maya closed her laptop, heart finally slowing down. She had no idea that somewhere else, on another screen, a remote session window with her computer's fingerprint, was still very much alive. That night she slept better than she had in months. She imagined rearranging her tiny apartment to fit a desk, buying a proper chair, finally being able to save to breathe. While she slept, someone else was very awake. They didn't have to guess her passwords. They had something better. They had a tool she had installed herself. They had a record of which sites she used for banking, email, and storage. They had time. One by one, they logged in. Where they couldn't get in, they requested password resets. Her recovery email was open on their screen, not hers. New devices were added. Backup codes were changed. Transfer limits were tested. By the time the sky over her city turned gray and then gold, most of the damage was already done. All that was left was for her to wake up and see it. At 7:12 a.m., her alarm rang. It was just another weekday. No panic yet. No clue. She grabbed her phone, turned off the alarm, and reflexively swiped through her notifications. At first, they didn't register as real. New login from a new device. $4,900 transfer completed. $2,100 transfer completed. She blinked, scrolled back up, opened her banking app. The number that stared back at her was wrong. Too small. Too impossible. Her checking account, the one she'd been slowly building, saying no to dinners out, to trips, to anything extra, was almost empty. She tried logging into her email. Password error. She tried again. Another error. In less than 8 hours, the dream job that came out of nowhere had turned into the most expensive lesson of her life. Shock comes first, then denial, then the need to make sense of it. Maya did what most people would do. She went to the source. She searched Northbridge Solutions' official website, found a completely different domain, different careers page, different contact email. Her stomach dropped. Hands shaking, she wrote to the real company. "Hi, I recently completed an interview with your recruiter, Rachel, and received a conditional offer for a remote product analyst role. There was an onboarding security check, and shortly after I discovered large, unauthorized transfers from my bank account." She hit send. Hours passed. When the reply finally came, she opened it so fast she almost dropped her laptop. It started with, "Hi Maya, I'm so sorry this happened to you." And then, "We are not currently hiring for this position. I am the real Rachel from Northbridge Solutions, and I did not interview you. Someone has been using my name and image to scam candidates. We have reported this to LinkedIn and law enforcement." Maya read those lines 3 times. She had never spoken to Northbridge. Not once. She hadn't interviewed with a recruiter. She hadn't done a skills test for a real job. She had performed step by step in a script written by strangers. The face she trusted was a deepfake. The voice she believed was synthetic. The entire process, from the first message to the final congratulations, was designed to lead to one moment. Her clicking allow at the bank's fraud office, and later with a cybercrime officer. The story finally got names and shapes. They pulled up examples of similar cases. Recruiters whose faces had been scraped from conference videos and LinkedIn posts. Professionals whose voices had been cloned from a few minutes of audio on YouTube or podcasts. They probably never even logged into the real company's systems. The officer said, "They just copied what was already public." An AI model built a moving, blinking version of the real recruiter's face. Another model generated a voice that sounded close enough. Scripts were written to match the company's tone. Logos and templates were easy to download. Layer on social engineering. Understanding how desperate job seekers think and feel. And the rest is predictable. Fast response. Lots of praise. A test designed to make you feel smart. A conditional offer. And then, while your brain is overwhelmed with relief. One standard security step. That gives them exactly what they want. Not just your money. Your identity. Your access. The keys to everywhere you've ever reused a password. Maya listened, eyes red, hands wrapped around a paper cup of vending machine coffee. "So this is my fault," she said quietly. The officer shook his head. "No," he said. "It's their fault. But the truth is, most people don't know what the new red flags even look like." He paused. "That's why stories like yours matter. Because the tech is getting better. But so can we." Maya didn't get all her money back. Some transfers were reversed. Some weren't. Pieces of her digital life are still being slowly cleaned up. But she did get something the scammers can't touch. Clarity. So if you're still watching this, she wants you to remember a few things. First, if a job finds you out of nowhere and everything moves fast, recruiter message, interview, offer, onboarding. Don't blindly trust the links in your inbox. Slow down. Open a new tab. Type in the company's official website yourself. Check if the role is really listed there. Use the contact email on their site, not the one that showed up in your message. Second, no legitimate interview needs remote control of your computer. Not to check your security. Not to verify your device. Not before you're even hired. If someone on a call asks you to install a tool, or grant them access to your screen and mouse, stop. End the session. Tell them you'll confirm with the company directly. If they pressure you, that's your answer. Third, check email addresses like your savings depend on it. Because they do. Look past the logo and the name. Look at the domain. Is there an extra letter? A dash that shouldn't be there? A slightly misspelled company name? One tiny change can be the difference between careers@company.com and careers@companycareers.com. Fourth, give yourself permission to be difficult. Real companies don't punish people for double-checking. They don't get angry if you say, "I'm going to verify this through your official website." They don't rush you into installing things you don't understand. Scammers do. Maya thought losing her savings was the end of her story. It was. It's the warning you just got for free. So, if you know someone who's job hunting, someone who's desperate for a remote role, someone who would click accept just to feel chosen, send this to them. Don't wait for their dream job to show up with a built-in nightmare. This is life after code. The scams are smarter. The performances are more convincing. But you don't have to be the easy target. Share this so someone you care about doesn't learn it the hard way. And follow for more true AI scam stories and how to protect yourself in the world we're already living in.